Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little bit since I last made a video. It's just been super crazy this summer and just getting the kids ready for school, and I just signed up for school for medical billing and coding, so I've just been super busy, but trying to squeeze in some crafting while I can. Just because it's like my therapy. So I thought I would share this project that I've been working on, and it's really fun. It's pretty easy to do, and you can use up your 12 by 12 paper pad sheets. I had a ton of Tim Holtz left over, so I made these. I don't even know what I'm gonna call these, just like my last projects. They're little flip books, but they have a little notepad inside. So here's the front that I put like a little cluster on, and then they fold open, and there's a notepad that I just made with some paper, and then a little pocket here to put ephemera. So and the back has a little spot right here to hold the twine, string, or whatever you decide to use, so that you can tie it closed and secure. I won't tie it here, but I'll show you some other examples of ones that I did. So here's another one, and I had a bunch of those clusters that I had made, so I thought it was a really good way to use those up, and they're just all different, and it was fun finding ways to use them up too. So there's that, and then there's this one, and here's a couple more. So yeah, it was fun coordinating all the colors and the different designs, and thankfully, like, my clusters were, it was easy to find things to match the back paper because I was using like a lot of Tim Holtz ephemera, so that made it easy to match the color scheme. I don't know, I like to match stuff, and sometimes it looks good when it's not matched, but for stuff like this, I like to kind of keep it in the same color family. So as you can see, it's just like, I'll get more into the process, but this is all 12 inches. So I folded it, and then I sewed around the edges just to kind of give it some more interest. You don't have to do that, but I've been trying to use my sewing machine more for projects, and this is a good way to do that. It definitely adds like a little something extra to it. I don't know, it makes it look more finished, I guess. So I did that. Let's just get into how I did this, and I'm hoping that I can explain it in a way that's easy. Like I said, this my instructions are going to be based on using a 12 by 12, but even if you had a smaller sheet, you could figure out how to do that with how I'm kind of showing you. So, and I know some people like to have measurements, so I try to do that as well for this one. But so from a 12 by 12, you can get two little booklets out of one sheet. So your two pieces that are going to be making up your booklets are going to be 4 inches. So you're just going to cut 4 inches across down down the piece of paper, the 12 by 12, and then you can cut another 4 inch. So that was 8 inches of that, and you're going to be left with a little strip. You're going to be left with a couple of strips left, but I'll just show you what you need for making this. So after you're done and you've cut out the two pieces from the 12 by 12, you're going to take one of your strips and you're going to cut this to 2 inches, and then you're going to cut basically this size piece is going to be 4 and 3/4 inch. So it's going to be big enough to make that center pocket right here. And the reason why it's not 4 inches exactly is because I made, like, I don't know if I can show you before I cut this, but basically it's a gusseted pocket. So we're gonna fold tabs and then it'll kind of give it more space to open up this pocket here. You don't have to do that. You could honestly just cut it at 4 inches and glue down the sides, but I feel like it's just, you can fit more stuff in that pocket when there's a little bit of like room to do that. So like I said, you're gonna have 2 of these pieces are gonna be 2 inches thick this way, and across this way it's gonna be 4 3/4 of an inch. And those are gonna be your pockets for the middle of the project. And then you're gonna have some extra, and I'll show you what to do with that when we're done. But for now, let's just move on from there. So I'm gonna set this aside. This is your other pocket flippy thing. I don't even know what to call it. So you have this piece here. I guess, I mean, you could do this in like so many different, it doesn't matter what order you do it in really, but like the first step for me was I was gonna round the corners of the main piece. Again, you don't have to round the corners. You can kind of keep it as you want. I was kind of thinking like, it was really, I'm not a great sewer when it comes to going around these corners. It's just difficult for me. I don't know, maybe there's a hack or something that someone can tell me. Like, I was trying to go slow, I was trying to go fast, but turning these corners is a little bit difficult. So if that's also not your strong suit, you could just make this square and then just like do straight lines. And I probably should have done that, but I didn't. So okay, so I rounded the corners on the main piece, and then for this piece, your pocket, I can't find my scoreboard, and you could probably score them at the right, like a 1/4 inch or however much, a little bit more than a 1/4 inch on the side, so that you could fold it. But since I don't have that, and you might not either, the easiest way for me to do this was I just held it up against here, and I folded it over the edges so that you can get those side tabs, and it'll be the same size as, like the same width basically. So after I folded those over, I have 2 side tabs. And then sometimes depending on the paper, you might want to check which side you want the pocket to be facing up, but since this is text, I guess it doesn't really matter. So then you're gonna fold your bottom tab, and you can just eyeball it, because you know those sides are about like a 1/4 of an inch, so I will probably make those the same size. And I guess they're not really a 1/4 inch because I don't want to get technical, but they're a little bit more than a 1/4 of an inch, just because, you know, that was 4 3/4, so half of that. So now you'll have 1, 2, 3 tabs. Okay, so this is going to make that middle pocket. And so what you want to do with this piece, just so it's easier to glue down, you want to find the corner piece, like where these 2 tabs meet, like this. See the line right there? I hope you can see that. And cut that. You want to cut off the bulk. That's why we're doing this basically, because when you fold it, it's going to be really bulky. I mean, when you glue it. So then, yeah, you have that. And then just to be a little extra, let's just trim off these side pieces too. And so then you'll have, it'll look like this. So this is the back side of the pocket, and you'll glue this down here. Okay, so the other step for the pocket that I like to do is I like to just make a little notch in the middle of the pocket. And then you could leave the notch like that. You could cut the notch out however you want to do. And I like to round the corners of my notches too. And it's super simple. Okay, so before we ink, I like to, I don't know, I guess you don't have to do this first, but just to get an idea. So this is gonna be the front where it folds up. So I want my paper pattern to be facing the right way, if that makes sense. And so this is gonna be your top folds. like this one right here. It's gonna be like this one. This is gonna be longer. I like to have it longer just to kind of give it a little bit of interest here. This top flap is shorter. Again, you don't have to do that, but that's just kind of the way that I was doing it. So this isn't like precise by any means. It's just eyeballing it and like kind of folding it where you want it to be. So before you actually like crease it down, kind of play with it and figure out where you want that to be folded down. And then I'm gonna fold this down like that. So then you have, this is face. So if you wouldn't, I mean, if you don't care, it'll just be upside down basically. Like if I didn't check, it would just be like that. And that would honestly bug me. So I made sure mine was facing the right way. So here's your top flap, bottom flap, and then this is the inside of it. So now we can go ahead and ink it. So I will be right back and I will ink everything and we'll finish. Okay, I'm back. So I inked all the edges and sides, and then I even did the little fold lines too, and I inked the pocket piece. So now we can go ahead and glue it down. So you're just gonna put a little bit of glue on these tabs, and then lay it down. But yeah, like I was saying, I like the making the tabs. Let me make sure this is the right way. Whoops, I almost did it upside down. Definitely check before, just do a quick check that this is your top piece, that you're gluing it to the right side, because I have made that mistake before. But yeah, I like making the tabs on the side because you can fit more in there and you can fit larger pieces. So if like you just glue it right here, it kind of cuts off to where you can't add as thick of a piece, like ephemera and stuff in there. But again, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do this. This is kind of like an extra step. Okay, so from this point is where you want to sew, if you want to. So I won't do that on camera just because, you know, I feel like it's unnecessary and maybe some people aren't going to be sewing this. But I wanted to make sure that my sewings like shows more on the front. You know, like when you sew, there's a front side and then there's like a back side and it looks different. I wanted to make sure that my main like sewing lines were on the front. So I just started on the sides, or you could start wherever, and I went and sewed around all the edges, and I did that twice just because I don't know, like I said, it adds interest, I guess. Yeah, I just sewed here, and then did that a couple times, and then you're done with that. So we'll just pretend like I sewed and then I'll move on to the next step. So with one of your extra pieces, you're gonna make your little tab that goes on the back that holds your string here. And you don't have to do this. You could glue a piece of string, but I just feel like it gives it a little bit more support, especially if you're like, you know, tying and untying it. That glue is probably not gonna hold up. And this is just like such an easy step to do that I don't know, it really wasn't like hard for, like, I don't know, it just was easy. So just take a little bit of your paper, and I'm gonna decide how long I want it to be. It's about an inch. You want them to be about an inch long and then about a ½ inch wide. So here's one piece for this one, and then I'll cut another one for the other pocket. So, or the other, I don't even know, the other piece. So here's that little strip, and you're gonna get a piece of twine. However, if you have string or sari silk or, you know, seam binding, that would work too. But yeah, I wanted to mention that you want to sew before that because it's going to be kind of tricky to sew with this in the way and everything like that. So we're going to flip this over, and you're going to put your you're going to glue your tab on the top and the bottom, and it's going to hold that in place. And then you can kind of slide this to where you need it to be. But I usually glue it let me fold this over so it's easier for you to see. So I glue it like about, that's not quite an inch. It's like maybe 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, right there. So let's glue that. And I like that, you know, using that same paper because it kind of blends in. You know, it's not exact, but it blends in with the rest of the paper. So yeah, there we go. So that's really easy. So it kind of holds that paper, and then it gives the string the ability to slide. So, and then you'll just do this, and then you'll tie it like that. You know what I mean? So now you can decorate it however you want. If you want to just leave this plain or add ephemera. I have some more clusters left over, so let's try to find something that fits. That might fit. That's a little bit big. Let's see. That's kind of big too, but that could work. Yeah, I like that. That works. Let's do that one. Okay, so let me get my glue going. All right. So just add a little glue to that. Make sure all the edges are glued, and then center this right here. Perfect. And that just, I don't know, I like, it's like a little bit of a focal piece to add. Okay, so we did the front. Again, you could do this last or before. I like to sew first just so that I'm not sewing over anything accidentally. And then, oh, we have to do our little notepad piece. So for the notepads, I made a bunch of these just to have on hand when I do projects like this. And the easiest way to do it was I took, I don't know, this is like 4 to 6 pieces of paper. Here's an example. So if I had 4 pieces of paper, I just like lined it up and then I sewed across the top. Am I in frame? Here we go. I sewed across this top, and then about halfway through I sewed another line so that I had like a big stack of them, and then I went ahead and I cut to the size that I wanted, like that. Okay, so like when it was sewed across, I just cut it to the right size, and I made a bunch of them. Like I used one as a guide and then like made it. That's the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. You could figure out another way to do it, but to make a bunch at one time, that was the easiest way. I hope I'm explaining this correctly or like easily to understand. But yeah, so then you'll have a little notebook, and you could use coffee dyed paper. I wish I had more coffee dye paper, but I didn't have any, so I just used some like cream colored paper. Doesn't really matter. Ledger paper would be really pretty. Lined paper, anything, just to kind of like make it a cute little notepad. So so once you've made your notepads, you're just going to put a little bit of glue on this strip right here, and then glue that down. Then you have your little notepad. It's so cute. So this is kind of like, I don't know, a little traveler's notebook pocket ephemera thing. And I don't know, they're just fun to make and fun to keep little things in them. So from here, then you can add your ephemera in it, and I have like tons of little ephemera pieces and scraps and stuff. So I had fun like putting everything together. So maybe that. It's kind of hard sometimes, like I like to be able to see all of the elements that I put in. Okay, there we go. And then I had some of these Tim Holtz, I think these were the botanical, these are like the new botanical pieces, and it comes with like birds and flowers, but they're really pretty, and I used up like most of mine, so I will probably, let's try this. So yeah, it kind of just adds like a little something extra, but maybe do that kind of matches. That might be too much. Oh, that's cute. There's purple on the stamp, and then there's purple from the flowers, so I like that. Something kind of different, you know? And I left this blank just because it's folding down. I didn't want to add too much bulk, but you could definitely add something to it. But yeah, those are my little pocketbook notebook things, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if you make them. I would love to see other people's renditions of them, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.